This next question is for our vice presidential candidates. Each undergraduate student currently pays a fee of $210 that goes in to make up the total ASUPS budget of approximately $510,000. As vice president, you'd be the chair of the budget process and in charge of allocating these funds to each of the different clubs, organizations, and programs under the umbrella of ASUPS. How would you go about ensuring that your allocations are made in a fair and efficient manner?
Well, that's a difficult question. I mean, I've sat in on Senate a few times and seen the way that budget is approached. I think Senate is definitely, there's so many different people who come to Senate and have the perspectives different perspectives of what is valuable to our campus and what is valuable to use funding for. There are often, it seems, things that are slightly excessive and could be pared down, and I think that would definitely be very important. I think there are also things that we traditionally use funding for, and looking at that in a new light, and maybe, take, for example, we talked about having a bunch of smaller concerts rather than having one big concert. Sometimes that can be great if we get someone awesome and it's a great experience, but there were also some people didn't know who Macklemore was and didn't necessarily want to go on a Sunday night and be there for 4 hours and not get their homework done. So being flexible and recognizing that different allocation of those resources might be more beneficial to students on campus. And that would mean potentially getting more input from all students rather than just the students that are represented in leadership positions or in Senate, and finding out what every student on campus wants rather than the ones who are getting their voices heard now. Yeah, I mean, Eric and I are strong proponents of creativity, and I think that the best thing that we can do is to find out what the students on campus want and not necessarily allocating resources in ways that have traditionally been done so.
All right, so I've actually been part of the budget process twice already, so I know exactly what goes on during the budget process committee and such. There is also a couple of percentage mandates that are in our bylaws and constitution that make it so that we have to give a certain percentage of the money that we collect to clubs, to the programmers, to the media within ASUPS. One of the things Scott and I want to do as exec members is use the green fee to create this new green officer position to research new sustainable projects for us to do. Another thing that we really want to do is support our club sports a lot more. I think that our club sports are very underfunded. They come very often to the finance committee and to Senate to request a lot of funds, and I think that we as ASUPS can support them a lot more. So, I mean, that's kind of like the biggest things that we're looking to do with the budget process. We also still want to hold some continuity because Rachel will be part of the budget process, and I think that it's very important that her opinion, she has all of the experience. She knows all the clubs and what they have requested in the past. She knows if they've used that money or not. We want to use the money as efficient as possible. We just don't want to waste any penny that we have. We want to make sure that we make smart decisions, but we also support the clubs that need the most money right now. So, thank you.
Our university, as well as ASUPS, strives to foster an all-inclusive environment on campus that promotes diversity. As an ASUPS executive, how would you address issues of diversity and marginalization on this campus? This is for Eric.
Well, I think first and foremost, we have just hired a new chief diversity officer, so I think working hand in hand with him in creating new ideas and new ways to put on events on campus, as well as forming groups in which people feel safe. I think that's a big part of building a community, is having people feel safe in that community. And one thing that's also been sort of brought up with this UPS Confessions page is that it's sort of an avenue of, it is one avenue for people to express any thoughts of actually I feel like I'm diverting away from the question. May I hear it again? or who may have read it. I apologize. I don't want to divert away too much. An all-inclusive environment on campus, yes. So that's partially what I think we should do. I feel like part of the things that were brought up on the UPS Confessions page were issues of marginalization on this campus. And we should be an all-embracing campus. Last night we had, in my chapter meeting, we had a discussion with Marta Palmquist Katie about what it means to be an inclusive community and inclusive language. And I think spreading the knowledge of inclusive language and sort of letting students know that their words and some of the things they say can really be hurtful towards people. And building that know-how of inclusive language will build an inclusive community that we want Puget Sound to be. Thank you.
This is for Scott. The Ernst Borsini administration worked to enact a student green fee to go towards sustainable projects on campus. In the university-wide budget process, ASUPS was granted the approval of enacting this fee of $3 for each student. This fee will go towards each student's $210 fee will go towards this fund, equaling to approximately $7,500. As an ASUPS executive, how would you propose allocating these funds? Who should have access to these funds, and what kinds of format would be most effective in the decision-making process?
Okay. I'm going to give this a quick read over to make sure I got all that. Which question number is this? Okay, got it. Okay, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this. I worked with Brian and Rachel to draft the budget task force presentation that helped get this green fee, as well as the increases to clubs and club sports and media, so that we can give all these groups more money. So the $3 to me is just a starting point. It's just a place for ASUPS to stop being sort of a follower and start being a leader in terms of sustainable action. And what Santiago and I want to do with that money is create a new executive position, which is kind of a special and rare thing for ASUPS. We want to have a green executive who's in charge of researching green projects and working with Students for a Sustainable Campus, ASUPS' club about sustainability, and the Sustainability Advisory Committee, which is the university's committee about sustainable activities. So the roughly $7,200 to $7,500 that we're going to get from this fee will not only pay that officer as a part-time position, but we'll also have a fund for that person working with SSC and SAC to spend on projects they find. One of the things that we thought of right off the bat that ASUPS could do is give out Eco to-go cards to people, because the school started this project where they give out, have you seen the cards in the sub where you can get a little to-go container? But we feel like students don't want to necessarily buy a card to be green when they can just get paper plates and stuff to go. So if ASUPS took that overhead cost and bought those cards and then gave them to students during orientation along with our t-shirts and water bottles and all the other ASUPS swag we give people, it would let them just have it, and then it's a one-time fee, so then they can just use that card away. And that's a way right away that we can cut down on waste using these funds. And we don't know. We're going to hire this officer for this reason, to work with the groups and come up with more solutions. Thanks.